to be the COP of adaptation, and yet the outcome before us falls.
Your statement will be noted in the report.
What we believe is that it is time for this process and for the UNFCCC to reconcile with science. This is the cup of truth, and we believe this was our opportunity to start discussing about the very basic scientific fact that transitioning away from fossil fuels is needed to achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement. And if we are having a process that is based on science, it is not possible that we are giving the back on science by preventing any conversation around fossil fuels on the Climate Change Convention.
I would have preferred that the transition away from fossil fuels had been in the document, but key countries objected to that. The way this works is a process of unanimity. Everybody has to agree. But what's also significant today is that there's enough in this agreement for Brazil to launch that key roadmap on the transition away from fossil fuels, which the COP president announced. These are difficult, strenuous, tiring, frustrating negotiations, but I'm fighting for Britain's national interest, and I think we made some steps forward.
But what we're essentially saying here is that it's 0 steps forward and maybe 2 steps backward. In terms of the outcome itself, we lost the roadmaps, which was there. There's a weak outcome on finance. And what we also saw at the start of this COP is that there's this high level of ambition. You know, we started with a bang, but we entered with a whimper of disappointment. So the absence of phase out of fossil fuel in the text is extremely disappointing. We had really strong momentum here with 80 countries supporting fossil fuel phase out, and we lost that text. It's extremely disappointing to see that there's a growing center of gravity and political will outside of the walls of this conference center. But we don't see that translated into text. And this is where it's extremely disappointing on that front.
Well, the last text that we saw, it did not even refer to fossil fuels. So clearly, the impact of fossil fuel lobbyists is very clear, and it seems that they are in bed with those polluters and historical emitters who are not allowing any progress to phase out fossil fuels. But we also saw the leadership coming from Colombia to get 80 countries behind their declaration to call out the inaction and how we need to phase out fossil fuels.